Hiya guys, and welcome back to Wade's Workshop. So I think this is the third part of this Mamod engine. I've still got the second engine I haven't even touched yet. Lots of projects on the go. The mini lathe, I've dropped that for now. I won't say I've lost interest in it, but I do need to buy a sheet of aluminium to make the guards up. That's just reminded me. And obviously I've got the grinder here, the benchtop grinder, the little D-bit grinder, which I need to get on with. But yeah, I just haven't had a lot of time in the shed, and I want to get this little Mamod engine out of the way, and I might do the second one as well. It's just breaking it up, mixing it up a bit. Do like to spend time actually making something or restoring something rather than my own machinery in the shed. But yeah, they'll come on. Nice winter projects they're going to be in the summer. Nice little jobs that are a bit of fun. So just mixing it up, as I said. So, good progress on the Mamod engine. I'll show you what we're doing. So I've put the hexagon on both sides now. I've just cleaned up the other side. So I'm just going to tidy up that face. Move it over very slightly just to polish it off. And then chamfer across. Try and keep my arm out of the shot. Just put a bit of a domed base on. Just using a needle file for this. Then little tiny break edge on the top of the hexagon. Just remove the bars off the back face. Being very careful not to hit the chuck here. Okay, so yeah, that looks respectable now. Okay, so now I'm at the point where I got to cut it in half. Yeah, I'm holding on the one hexagon and left about 2.5 mil of parallel. And I'm going to chop the major part off, so I'm parting closer to the chuck there, and almost to the sort of thickness that the nut is going to be. If I was further out, I'd be worried about it jumping off on that little hexagon we're holding on. So I'm being quite gentle with this parting. In fact, I may finish it off with a junior hacksaw. It's a little bit iffy, my holding technique here. The OD is throwing a bit to the hexagon, I'm not worried about that. In fact, we're nearly there, I think. I think I'm going to get it. Here we are. Okay, so it's running quite nicely there. Yeah, I think we'll just face across there. Just to clean up that finish, put a little chamfer on the outside edge. Touch more. Okay. And the chamfer. That'll do me, just a break edge. So, I'm going to take this back out, put it back in a minute to do the hole. But there's the blank of the nut. So, little hexagon with a shoulder. And obviously it's going to need drilling and tapping M3 in there. But we can do that. So we've got the second one up now. I took a reading on that final cut on the last one. And back against the shoulder of the hexagon. So if I base this off to the same reading, the flange on both of the wheel nuts, should we call them, will be the same thickness. another mil to go up to this cut. Just being gentle with this. That's it, that'll leave a 0.1. And then the final 0.1 there. Okay. Brake edge again. There we have it. So I'll leave this one in here, and I think we'll drill and tap it M3. You've all seen drilling a hole and tapping a hole before, so I'll do that off camera. I just placed the axle in there with the rear wheels. These haven't been painted yet, or I haven't done anything other than just clean the worst of the dirt off. There's a spare nut, both tapped. Axle's in there. Now what this does now is, if I just bring it round so you can see it. Oh, I think there's a cat on my roof. Just heard a big thump. So if I push that in, I can now measure the length of that shaft to the wheel. Looks like about 8 mil, but I'm going to leave a 0.5 mil of slack, and then I can drill and tap it to fit the new wheel nut on this side. So that just gives it me as a gauge, a quick assembly. Push that one in, no force. Leave a 0.5 mil of slack. I mean, it's designed to have a bit. I don't want it tight. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do next. I'll measure that length. In fact, I can do that with a rule. Let me just find my rule. A rule. There's a rule. So, it's actually about 8.5. Let's just get a better gauge. There's 8.5 on there now. If I remove 8 mil from there, I'll touch off with the lathe tool, remove 8 mil, drill it and tap it, and we should be somewhere near. There we are. I think they look sweet on there, just to, you know, the brass effect rather than the old type. As you can see, the tyres came in. I've just fitted one onto the rim, just as a test bit. They're quite a tight fit on there. You've got to sort of work them on, but yeah, so they're not going anywhere. I haven't fastened them. It's just been put on for a trial, see what it looks like. These wheels are going to be black gloss, same as the front end. What I'm noticing is there's quite a few dinks around the part that's going to show outside the tyre. There's a few dinks. This one isn't too bad, this side actually, but I think I might try and set them up in the lathe and just do a little skim pass just to clean these up and polish up these edges so that we got a nice shine on these edges. Top of the wheel, doesn't matter, it's going to be under the tyres, but I'll make sure there's no dinks in them while they're at it. But I don't want to reduce the diameter. Then I think give them a wipe down with some methylated spirits, get all the traces of old oil and muck off them. Maybe put them in the ultrasonic tank, give them a clean in there. And then mask off the outside, spray them up, and that'll be the back axle and wheels complete. So may show you a bit of footage of the wheels being skimmed, may not. So yeah, got quite a good setup. How the wheel runs true, back against the jaws, reverse jaws in. Just going to come in for a touch here. I've engaged my lead screw, which isn't revolving, and I'm using the handle on the end, which is where the drive goes, to advance the cutter. Here we go, just touching there. Okay, let's just do a pass there. Not quite cleaned up, touch more. Machine's nice. Not quite, touch more. I think just a little bit more. See a few marks going around there. There's a big chamfer on the outside anyway, so I'm just reducing that very slightly. I bet I haven't taken more than about 3 thou off here. Let's just have a quick look. That looks polished up nicely. Time to cut her out of the way. A little bit of emery just to remove the sharp edge on the inside with a snow chamfer. Okay, that's it. Yeah, I'm not going to touch the outside. Tyres going on there. Leaves a bit of character in it. So yeah, that outer edge come up nice now. I'll do that on, probably do that on all four wheels. But luckily, the front wheels also fit in those reverse jaws without fouling anything. And while I'm at it, I just as well paint all four at the same time. Clean all four. These are going to rattle a bit in the ultrasonic. Ultrasonic's up in the house. So I have got an ultrasonic tank, and I can tell you a little story. My wife has got quite a lot of that Pandora jewellery, bits and pieces, you know, the silver bracelets with the little charms on. And she was always saying, oh, it's really difficult to clean. I said, oh, the perfect machine for that would be an ultrasonic tank. Oh, so anyway, I said, oh, I'll get one of those so we can clean your jewellery. So I did buy one. Obviously, I had an ulterior motive. And whenever she wants any jewellery cleaned, the little charms and things like that, I put the jewellery cleaner in it, warm it up, get it going, and they come out sparkling like new. But the added advantage, and she was so pleased that I bought this for her. This is sort of half truth, but yeah, but it means I've got an ultrasonic tank I can use for all sorts of little bits that need to be cleaned in the workshop. So yeah, every cloud has a silver lining. So I managed to justify buying a tool for the workshop, which is allowed to live in the house on the grounds that its primary use is for cleaning her jewellery. And the fact that I can use it for other things is a bonus. So sometimes you win, guys. I just cleaned up this wheel and I noticed that that face there is horrible. It's all graunched up. And the inside's a bit chewed up as well. You know what, I think, because I'm making the axle, and it's, you know, I'm talking, not taking anything off it, you know, to any great degree. I think what I'll do is face those off while I'm at it. So I'll just cock the tool in. I should be able to get in there. Just clean up that face, because I'm not happy with that. It's, you know, if I make the little nuts the same, which I'm planning on, or they are smaller, we can speed this up a bit. That's better. Just break that edge as well. Alright, that looks a lot better. There's probably 5 thou off there. This one's easier to get at. So I'll take them all. Tiny bit more. Okay. I'll just check the other wheel as well. I didn't look closely on the other one, but I did on this one. I noticed it. So I think, as I spotted it, and I have the tools and the wherewithal to do it, just as well to clean it up now, so at least when the wheel nuts are on it, it runs sweet. I've got the rear axle back on now, all in place, wheels all painted. Yeah, I think I do like the look of that. I'm glad I machined just that rim, painted them up, and then I just put them back up in the lathe and just run a Stanley knife with it running nice and slow in the lathe. Just polished that rim up and got rid of any excess paint, and it's given a nice, clear, defined edge. And front wheels are done as well. they've got their tyres on. So I need to change my focus to this front axle now. Again, all the ends are all chewed up. Let me just put one end on. Okay, so I think I'll get away with the 3mm again. Again, I'm going to leave, like, you know, just 10th hour clearance or something. So I need to machine these down, and then drill and tap M3, and then make some more nuts, very similar to the ones on the back for the rear axle. And we'll screw for the front axle, and we'll screw those on. Exactly the same process, maybe a slightly different diameter than the rear ones. We'll go for a smaller diameter. Probably stick with the 6mm flats, because I do have a 6mm spanner. I could go smaller. I've got BA spanners that go smaller. I'll make that decision when I get there. So this front axle is partially disassembled. It's got the spring removed and what have you. I think I do need to take this rivet out to get the spindle out. So a bit more disassembly. I did run this over the wire brush, but I'll be able to clean it up a bit better once I've disassembled it. So I think it looks like a roll pin, basically. It looks like a brass roll pin. Or maybe not, maybe a steel roll pin. I'm sure I can replicate that and pin it over afterwards, even if I've got to change the hole size. So the rivet goes right through the axle and pins the axle in position on the cradle, and obviously pins it to the yoke as well. So we may even put like a BA bolt in there moving forward, a brass BA bolt maybe. I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. First things, get this rivet out. It appears to be pinned over. It certainly is on this side. This side, not sure. I may be able to pop it out from this side, but yeah, I'll have a play with that and see if I can get it apart. So the little rivet did tap out quite easily, actually. I think I'll be able to reuse that, put it back in afterwards. So that's got it out of the fork. The axle is cross-drilled. It's a bit fitty in there. It'll come out, I'm sure. I think it's just grimed up. Yeah, I'll probably have to tap that out of there. And then I can clean it all up and what have you, and then can start to machine the ends. But I'll have to remember to take equal amounts from the hole size to keep it centralised. So, put the yoke assembly back together, and as you can see, the axle just sticking out, same both sides. Let me just flip it the other way. Okay, yeah, axle sticking out maybe 1/2mm. I have cleaned up the, ooh, don't drop that wheel. I've cleaned up the yoke now, put it back together, riveted it. I managed, it was quite tricky to get the rivet back in. I did have to clean up the original swage on the end. Managed to get it through by having a 3.1 drill through the lot, and then keeping everything lined up, and then just following through with the rivet. So I pushed the rivet down as far as it would go, with clearance under this side, then put this side on my stake, and put a tapered punch into this side, which has just swaged out the end of the rivet, so it all rotates nicely. I have got the copper spring, I need to clean that up. But yeah, it's coming together now. So next step, make another 2 of these nuts. Well, you've seen me do that before. Where are we? Those nuts. They're going to be slightly smaller in diameter, I think. Do I go for a 5mm hex, stay with a 6? So, made a double-ended one, exactly the same principle as last time. Turned, this one's 9 by, well, it was 6 and then 5mm hexagons on one piece, and then I'll just part them off, drill them and tap them M3 after facing the flange to width. So yeah, exactly the same as the last one's, just scaled down. There's the axle, 2 nuts fitted, 2 little short studs again, exactly the same principle as before. So yeah, I didn't show a great deal of this, guys. It was, as I said, it's a repetitive exercise. So yeah, I can fit that front spindle and axle, I suppose, now. Well, there we are. There's the front axle back in, all 4 wheels back on. I did polish up the copper spring that goes in here, refitted that before putting the second wheel on. You can't get it in once you got both wheels on, which I found out when I'd put both wheels on. Anyway, yeah, I think proportionally they look right. The front one's a lot smaller. They may be a little bit long, but yeah, they're all right. So we're getting there. It's back on its wheels. I mean, that's a good start. I will go through all the little fittings and what have you and clean everything else up now. But yeah, we're getting to the end. The only thing I haven't looked at is the hood that goes on it. This particular engine didn't come with a hood, but as you saw in an earlier video, I have managed to get hold of one, so that needs a good clean up. Does have like Mamod decals on the hood, and the hood I've got, it's got a little spring clip which fits on the front. I don't like that. I think I'm going to change that to a little screw and maybe make a brass finial. Where are we? There we go, for the top of the chimney. Maybe make a brass finial. And I haven't got the steering rod, so there's a brass fitting that goes on here, screws on, and then you can put a rod with a, originally they had a wooden knob on the top. I have seen them for sale online, but 20 something quid. I think I can make one that looks far nicer than the originals for far, well, for nothing. With what I've got here, and I've got some silver steel. I can put a thread on, you know, I can do all that. So yeah, I'll probably make one of those and make a wooden knob for the end and what have you. So I will be going down that route at some point, but as you can see, it's coming along now. All four tyres, all four wheels back on, and it's looking good. Obviously it's got grubby again where I've been messing around with it, but I can't clean it up. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying this. Well, my normal closer, I think that's about it for this one. And yeah, really nice to see it back on its wheels. So anyway guys, I hope you're enjoying this project. It seems to have quite a few views, but I'm enjoying myself and I'm bringing you along with the journey. That's all that matters from my end. Those of you that like it, great. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day. Thanks for watching guys. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you all very soon. Cheers now.